Hello coaches, I'm Lizija, national badminton player from Malaysia. I would like to welcome our next speaker, Stefan Ljutzkanov from Loughborough University, who will discuss the future of AI power coaching. Enjoy the session.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? I hope you're as excited as I am about this session, and I really hope to bring you on a small journey with me through my personal coaching experience. Before anything else, I want you to imagine that today you're Aladdin and you're about to find a very nice lamp, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of how to rub it properly, and let's see what comes out of the lamp. I would refer to something that I call 3 steps of coaching framework. The very first step is what is happening right now, where we are right now. What is the demand? And the very important question here is, without understanding this, we don't know how to get where we want. Think of it as Google navigation. Every time you use Google navigation, it pings you where you are, you type where you want to go, and it gets you there, right? Many, many years ago, I still remember the time, we used to have maps. And coaching right now is exactly where we were this time. There was a maps, and we used the maps, we had to navigate, and I don't remember how many times I've got lost using that maps myself. So I had to learn to navigate. Of course, as we navigate, we really want to understand where do we go. And it's a very important question, why? Why do we want to get there? Is it a shorter time? Is it a better way to get there? And of course, there are a lot of things we might see. We might have different opinions about a lot of stuff, but there are things we might not even see. We might not even understand. So what if we can do this? When I was a coach, and I'm still coaching, but now I'm focused much more coaching coaches, I never felt enough. I've graduated Best Education in Denmark. I've specialized SNC, I've specialized mental coaching. I did a lot of extra stuff that I wanted to do for one simple reason, and I'm sure that a lot of people of you are in the same boat with me. I wanted my players to be the best. I wanted to win their matches, and I wasn't in the luxury to have all of that. I didn't get all of the different coaches with me. So I had to learn. I had to learn a lot, and I was always hungry. But it always, as much as I wanted, there is never enough. There was never, and it's not possible to get all the knowledge of your own. So I want to get a little bit of your opinion on that one. I want to understand how you feel and what is actually the thing. So this is, if any one of you has data, I would be very happy if you can help me on that one. I'm not going to be able to display it right here, but that's for you. If you go to this address as menti.com and enter that code, you'll be able to say what are the biggest challenges, what is this help you, and how does it help you. So just keep it for a few seconds before it goes further. I hope everybody worked on that one. Now, as I wasn't able to get all the data, we have to understand that our role as a coach changes through time. And in previous session, we heard a lot about biobanding. We heard about different types of maturity. This is just a simple representation to understand the relation between us as a coaches to the athlete and a parent. And it's really important to understand that because we need to know different things. Through the time and our journey as a coach, according to what groups do we work with, according to who are we working with, we need to know a lot of other stuff. In some cases, we need to understand about planning and prioritization, but it's not the same for younger kids as well as adults and elite players as we saw previous sessions. There is a talent identification, there is a pathway requirements, there's a lot of stuff that goes on the time. So now the question is, can we know all of this? And is it possible? And how does the journey go forward? Now, my biggest question for you is, what if you had all the help, if you had really all the support that was needed? What if you actually had the data analytics? What if you had the SNC? What if you had nutritionists? What is your limitation right now? And if you had that response and help right now, where would you go? And I'm sure a lot of you would have ideas about that. So just another match. I'm looking at this. I'm seeing something. And I have an opinion. I'm having an opinion, what type of stroke is this, right? We might try to guess it. We might try to understand, is this good? Where should my player play right now? So if you look at this as a coach, you said, they're like, oh, it looks really nice. And I almost barely can see the racket. I see the opponent, I see something, and I'm just thinking, what should my player do right now? Where is that gap? What is that identification that comes in? So as much as we can see some things, there are a lot of things that are happening that we might not always see them. And this is where specific technologies like computer vision comes in. Computer vision is a way we use cameras to see what is happening. And it's similar to coach's eye. It can see things, but it's also trained. It can track. It can do a lot of other stuff. Now, this is from a match in England from national championship senior level, and it's the final match for men's singles. And this was more than 2 years ago. The technology right now can do a lot more stuff. So what I can see as a human eye compared to what the computer can see is now very different. We can still, through experience, see a lot of extra stuff because we feel it, we understand it in some form and shape differently. But a lot of things, when they're consistent over time, we need something bigger to understand it. So if we modulate that, I can now see the shuttle, I can see the steps, I can see the body, I can see leaning, I can even see your fingers rotating. There are things that are a bit challenging, but it comes in. And the question is that I also can see the opponent, I can see the court. I could modulate that and create a 3D. And the question is, so what? What would you do with that? If you have that, you have your genie, and you can rub that lamp, what would you make of it? Because data on its own is not everything. Data and insight, understanding that data is not the same. So we as the coaches have a lot of challenge of measuring and everything else. But getting the data, using the data very cleverly, it's two different things. So on this one, I have my badminton court, and this is a match, a real match, all the footwork, left and right foot, and all the measurement of all your lunges. And technically, it's possible even to detect your heel to the toes and any angle that is related. But so what? What does this mean to me and for me? So what would I do with that? Because I have no clue what to do with that. I might even profile my players. I might understand how to do all of this. So even the technology comes through this, the biggest breakthrough for it is that now you can communicate with this technology in a very different way. So you can see differently. Let's call it enhanced eyes. Like I'm putting my glasses and I can see something different now. You know, we've all seen that movies. I'm putting my glasses and I can now see something that no one else can see, right? This is a bit like that. But now I can actually get something of the data in a different way. So this is an interaction between me as a coach and the data and understanding the weakness of the opponent. I know you can't see it, but it's very simple. I want to understand what's happening, so I'm asking the data, what is actually happening? Tell me the weakness of my opponent. Tell me how to use it. Tell me what is actually happening. And you don't have to have the answer. You don't have to know everything because there is a framework behind it. There is a methodology behind this. So understanding the sport, the context is a king. The data itself, without the context, is not as relevant. In some cases, is irrelevant. So imagine that you can profile your player. Even more interestingly, you can profile your opponent at the same time of profiling your player. So you might actually, at the same time, understanding everything that happens with your player and everything that happens with your opponent. So where do you want to go from here? What does it happen next? Because same like the Google navigation, you have to control that. The process of getting there is really important. We did, with a small dedicated research team, we did extensive research of what happens with the technology and how does it shape. And we've identified two main parts. One, on the left, is what we call tech-led and coach-supervised. So if you think of it as like, yeah, even now I can profile these things, but I can do it manually, and it's very tedious, it's very hard, it's a lot of hours, and no one really want to do that, right? At least I haven't seen anybody, and if somebody's here, please let me know. I haven't seen somebody who say, I really want to spend 30 hours tagging a video of somebody, in that case. So this is the idea. You as a coach, or we as a coaches, we really want to control the parameters, so it will be supervised by us of saying, I really want this, and I want that, and I want this, but I don't want to do it. I want the system, the software, the computer vision to give me this in the way I need it to use it. But on the other side, there are a lot of areas that I as a coach want to control. So this is where I'm leading, and the technology is helping me. And similar things of communication, right? So talent identification, scope of the talent identification, road mapping, the future of a country. All of that are context, because this is building the context. This is building the interaction. Previously, Alistair was talking about what is going to be our role as coaches and how the softer skills and everything else goes forward, and we need to develop it further. This is more true than you can imagine, because all of the automation and all of the things that might feel as the edge on technology, they're going to be taken away from us for a good reason. But our role is unique. Your role is unique. Technology is not going to do anything more than that. So exactly like navigation, if we know where we are, we know where we want to go, we know the conditions, we know how fast we want to go, we know how much resource we want to invest, everything like that, we can actually set it up. And what happens next is even more interesting, because this type of technology linked to the framework could help us get it further. So again, I'm in the place of Aladdin, and I have that, and I want to build my perfect planning and periodization. But I don't have the time. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have all my experts. I need bar banding. I need to understand it for different groups. I need so much more to capture on my own. And even if I have a team of support coaches with me, it's still a huge work and huge lifting. So yes, I want to be in control, but I need a help. And this is where this changes. So our Genie, our AI, is helping us, and it's going more and more to integrate it like that, where we can interact with that. I can build now this, or very nearby, all of you will be able to do that, just by speaking of this. I won't type, I won't do anything, I'm just going to talk about it, and this will become live and shared with all my players, all my coaches, everybody with me. Even further, when we have different points and we need to understand what happens right now, this plan is relevant if I can't bring it to life. So I need to see some things in training. Christian, we're talking about load and everything else through the training and how we control that. But what if I can see this? How would I bring it even further? Because I can actually see this today, and I can have different levels. It's very typical for a club on a very high level, a national government body, to have heart rate, hardware variability. It's very typical to have GPS or data that does. In some cases, it's accelerometers, VO2, all kind of data like that comes live. But what would they do with that, and how would they interact is the key here. Because it's no longer just a scientist that will do it. You will be able to do it exactly the same way as the scientist will, but you will do it live on court with the session, with your players today. And that's very, very different. Now, all of that is great. It's today, and we're moving forward. But what happens next? Now, I have the opportunity to work with national government bodies and international federation, not just in badminton, but also in different sports. So we interact with football. Football is fantastic to see what they do with bar bending. It's fantastic to see how they interact, and I'm so jealous. And we have a possibility to bring some of those resources in badminton side. But when we're looking through time, not always we understand, not always we actually see anything. So this is an example of a roadmap from the beginning of foundation level all the way to the elite, based on the bar bending parameters and the way we believe it's going to be used. Because it comes very different. I have to even educate the coaches. I have to change my strategy of education of coaches through the country, through everything, because in the advanced level, they need to know how to do that. Dealing with exactly high peak velocity, and they need to understand it. But do they? Or do they have all the data? So what if I can help them go even further on that? And the reason why we can do this is because we collect billions of points. Not billions. We're talking about billions. So this is just a screenshot to show you what happens about exactly the same match. And this is from 2 years ago of when we did the first feasibility study. Now it's even more advanced. It can take a lot more stuff and can make it live in a different way. So what happens is that I can recreate a 3D body from the same one, and I can run it live with you on a court, in that case. We've seen this in the movie. It's no longer movies, and it's your pocket lamp right now. So imagine that I need to understand what happens. There is a change in the word badminton. We saw this previously. Men's game has increased in tempo, demand. Do we know this? How much it's increased? But if I can measure it and change something, and this change can reflect over time, so I see change in the top, but I bring it right now to the 11s. And I bring it today, not in 5 years' time, but today, and I know it. What if I can understand this level of load? We know the scoring system is changing. We know that a lot of things are happening. If we can understand the data and have and collect all of data, this is what it will be the outcome. We will not make a guess. We will make a clear decision based on data. As more as we develop through time, we get better players, more and better with everything we have. And of course, if we understand commercialization, if we understand the countries and the demand in that country, we can turn this into a value. And value is very important because we're not in position of football. We're not positioned even in tennis. Or even that we are getting very close to that in some countries. That means is that the value we can get into as a coaches is different. The business model for coaches is very, very important to go further. And if we can do this better and right, there potentially is a lot more money simply put on. So sponsorship, commercialization, and everything what that means in different countries. So, yes, we have tech-led. Yes, we have coach-led. But what are the skills? And Alistair was talking about that earlier, and it's so, so true. Because our skill as a coach becomes the key skills. Our soft skills, our emotional intelligence, our way we interpret the data and decide is extremely fast. So it's no longer I need to learn data analytics or performance analytics to understand what to do afterwards. I need now to be very flexible to do something with this very, very fast. So let's address the elephant in the room. Would AI replace you? Our current opinion is no, but coaches with AI embracing the technology would have opportunity to do this a lot better, and they would most likely replace coaches who don't want to embrace the technology. Very common question we have is who owns the data? By default, the end user owns the data, but organizations willing to embrace those technology, they will also own the data. And there's a very common conception in that. It complies with GDPR and a lot of other structures. And probably the biggest one for me, where is the limit of being okay? I collect all the data, but is this not crazy? Do I really want all the data? And the question is, it's okay to collect everything, but there is a moral and ethical point of some things that goes beyond. Currently, there's almost no policies. We're in an opportunity to work with some organizations that are building those policies, and we're open to work with some of the others that will build that in the future. All of that sounds great, but we're here right now. We're on the left side. We're in the current coach's role. So we understood maybe 1.5 years ago, we understood that it's coming something completely new and groundbreaking, and there is a quite big gap between where we are right now to where we want to go. So we've been working very hard, and we've been working very hard together with the BWF Development team, and I'm very happy to tell you that if you click on that one, you should be able to go to our new website just released right now, and you will be able to sign up for a community update on coaches education, where we're right now presenting a very new form of bachelor education where sport coaching and badminton goes hand by hand together. So we build on a very, very stable foundation of sport coaching. We integrated with incredibly enhanced level of what has been done in coaching education for badminton. We bring it to completely new. And the reason is that you need to know AI technology. You need to use tools like this. You need to know how to monetize yourself as much as you need to know how to perform technical strokes and tactical areas and so on, because life and success of this depends not what you want and know only on court, but also what is happening out of it. So I have a lot of examples of coaches moved in other areas, and they're absolutely amazing coaches because they cannot sustain good life for themselves and their families. We want to change this. So be one of the first joining this, join the community, scan the QR code. I'm here to answer all questions. I'm really hoping to see you and to see you live at any single point. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Stefan. And I think there's been a theme that's been going through a few of the sessions today where AI has been mentioned, so very, very topical at the moment, obviously. We'd like to recognize Stefan, but we'd also like to recognize Mildred and Ilona, who also presented there. So I'd like to welcome them back, and also Michel Tribots from the French Badminton Federation to present a small token of appreciation to each of you. So this one is for